Now, earlier this bulletin, we looked at how the weak yen is prompting a surge of international travel to Japan while causing problems for outbound travel demand. And now we turn to China, who's looking way ahead when it comes to its aviation ambitions. It is one of the country's growing industries and is forecast to become the world's biggest by 2042. Well, two big players currently dominate this space, and that is America's Boeing and France's Airbus. China's homegrown plane maker COMAC is trying to be a viable competitor with the debut of its C919 jet. Well, CNA's Roland Lim looks at whether the company can rise up to the challenge.
China's aerospace champion, COMAC, is a great source of national pride. President Xi Jinping called it a triumph of Chinese innovation when its first homegrown jetliner took to the skies. According to U.S. think tank, the Center for Strategic and International Studies, Beijing spent up to $72 billion in state-related support to build the C919. The aim? Self-reliance and to break up the Western duopoly of Boeing and Airbus. The Civil Aviation Administration of China, or CAAC, plans to build an extra 200 airports by 2035 to keep up with air travel demand. Now, Boeing reckons China would need more than 8,500 new passenger jets up in the air over the next 19 years. And that's a market worth almost $3 trillion. So why not capitalize on it? Now, China's route to getting there has been long and an expensive one. State-owned manufacturer, the Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China, or COMAC, was established in Shanghai in May of 2008. Now, its job to build a jetliner to reduce the country's dependency on foreign plane makers. 2 years later, COMAC applied to the CAAC for certification of the C919. Then it announced its first order of 100 planes from the big three Chinese airlines and leasing companies. Now, COMAC announced a few years later that the C919's first flight would be delayed until 2015, with delivery dates pushed back to 2018. But it wasn't until 2017 that the C919 finally took off. A second prototype that made its maiden flight December of that year. In 2022, the CAAC issued the airworthiness of the C919 after testing 6 prototypes. A year later, the C919 completed its first commercial flight to Beijing from Shanghai, operated by China Eastern Airlines. The C919 measures almost 39 meters in length with a height of nearly 12 meters. Now, that makes it longer and taller than the Airbus A320, but shorter than the Boeing 737 MAX 8. In terms of capacity, the Chinese aircraft is able to seat more passengers than the other two, carrying up to 192 people. But it has a smaller flight range and fuel capacity compared to the Airbus and Boeing jetliners. The C919 may be labeled made in China, but most of its parts are not, including the engine. That's by US and France. The avionics and control systems, American. The landing gear, German. Now, COMAC has been working hard to find an alternative to the LEAP engines manufactured by CFM International. Now, that's a consortium between American GE Aerospace and French Safran Aircraft Engines. China's aviation industry faces increasing export control restrictions from the US over alleged military ties. State-owned Aero Engine Corporation of China, or AECC, has already been busy developing the CJ1000 high-bypass turbofan jet engine to replace the LEAP engine. The majority of the take-up for the C919 has been from Chinese airlines. Now, COMAC says it has received more than 1,000 orders from Air China and China Southern Airlines. Brunei's Gallop Air is the first foreign airline to order the C919, while Indonesian carrier Transnusa is considering purchasing it after its success with COMAC's smaller ARJ21 jets. Meantime, analysts say it's only a matter of time, but likely decades before COMAC can really fly as high as the Airbus-Boeing duopoly. Certification is key to takeoff. It took Airbus and Embraer around 30 years to mature, and certification from the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration is essential to succeeding. China's Civil Aviation Authority is already making it a priority to obtain European certification for the C919 by next year. For CNA Explains, I'm Roland Lim.